So, Razan, can we start reading, please?
Yes, sure. من أول شيء.
Yes, from the beginning.
Okay, cause
Okay, Ali Al-Haj has been removed.
الحالة.
I'm not only removing people, those who are outsiders, I'm also reporting them to Zoom. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cause and effect essay example. Effects of video game addiction.
Yes.
Video game addiction is a serious problem in many parts of the world today and deserves more attention. It is no secret that children and adults in many countries throughout the world, including Japan, China, and the United States, play video games every day. Most players can limit their usage in ways that do not interfere with their daily lives, but many others have developed an addiction to playing video games. Such addiction has had significant consequences that lead people to suffer detrimental effects on the social, vocational,
Yes, vocational. I'll explain.
vocational, and health levels. You can use academic level as an effect.
In the key thesis statement, yes. Okay. Now, let me of course tell you something here. Let me delete this. Okay. Let me see. Okay, let me take this away. Let me remove this. Let me also remove this. Okay. Okay. Let me save and then go into an ease transition. Okay. So, Mister, if we look at the introduction, the writer starts with a hook saying that video games, or video game addiction is a serious problem in many parts of the world. So here the writer, he starts his hook by directly mentioning what? Yes?
The main idea.
He's directly mentioning the topic. He's directly mentioning the topic of the discussion, and he starts, in general, by telling us that it's a serious problem. So here, the writer directly sets up his discussion and directly sets up the fact that I'm going to talk about a video game addiction, and I'm not going to talk about it in the positive way. And the problem, and it's a problem, and he sets the tone from the very beginning. He sets a very worried tone by stating that video game addiction is a serious problem in many parts of the world. And then he continues, by mentioning some of the most, addicted citizens and the countries like in Japan, China, okay? And finally, he ends with a thesis statement. As you can see, I'll highlight it in red. This thesis statement, Razan, reread, please.
Such addiction has had significant consequences that lead people to suffer detrimental effects on the social, vocational, and health levels.
Okay, so from the thesis statement, Razan, is it one-sided or double-sided?
ما فهمت, what do you mean?
Is this cause-effect essay, Razan, double-sided or single-sided?
I don't know.
Okay. Double-sided means that he will, talk about both causes and effects. Single-sided, it means either causes or either effects. What did you read in the thesis?
بس الeffect.
So it's one-sided.
Yes.
So it's one-sided. Okay. This means that a cause-effect essay, as we mentioned yesterday, can either tackle both causes and effects, or it can simply be one-sided, as in only mentioning or discussing, causes alone or effects alone. This essay, from the title, it's only focusing on the effects of video game addiction, so it's one-sided. How many effects are mentioned? For everyone, yes? How many effects are mentioned?
3.
3, which means
Social,
that we
vocational,
shall
Vocational and health levels.
We have 3 effects. social, vocational. Vocational is related to jobs and careers, etc. This is vocational, okay? So it's related to jobs and careers and health. So here, since the writer mentions three effects or, lists three effects in the thesis, it simply means that he will have three consecutive body paragraphs, and every body paragraph will be dealing with one of the controlling ideas. So one body paragraph shall discuss the social, another one the vocational, and the final one the health. So now what will happen?
Sure.
Now, yes.
صوت مش واضح كتير.
Okay. Can you hear me now clearly?
مش كتير.
Yes من قبل واضح يمكن عنده.
Maybe from you, Shabata. Maybe it's your not problem because يعني I don't know.
مش الحال. مش الحال.
Okay, guys. So now, what will happen? The first effect, according to the thesis, is related to the social side. So what's going to happen now is that we're going to read it, okay? And then after we read it, I'll tell you what you have to do as a task during this period. We still have, about 15 more minutes. Let's read the first effect, which is the first body paragraph, and then I'll tell you the task you have to do. Yes, Shabaita.
One common effects of video game addiction is association and withdrawal from social experience.
Everybody paragraph, as I mentioned yesterday, must start with a topic sentence. And remember, the topic sentence is a complete sentence that includes one idea as mentioned in the thesis. And it's like, beginning of the paragraph. So from the thesis, the first effect is social. So I take the word, I take the concept, and I write it as a full sentence, as you see in the red, which is a topic sentence. And then now I shall start my discussion. So one common effect of video game addiction is isolation and withdrawal from social experiences. Now, let's read the details about that. Yes, Shabaita.
Video game players often sit in their homes or in internet cafes for days at a time, only remaining for the most pressing tasks and necessities. The effects of this isolation can lead to a breakdown of communication skills and often a loss in socialization.
Yes.
While it is true that many games, especially massive multiplayer online games, involve a very real form of based communication and coordination with others, and these virtual interactions often result in real communities that can be healthy for the players. These communities and forms of communication rarely translate to the type of valuable social
Valuable.
Humans need to maintain typical social functioning. As a result, the social networking in these online games often gives the users the impression that they interacting socially, while their true social lives and personal relations may suffer.
Okay. Of course, Mr. You as a student, when you write a certain body paragraph, it should be like about 5 sentences. So the first sentence in the red is the topic sentence. You have to write more for, 4 more sentences. And remember, a sentence is not a line. It's a complete sentence until the full stop. That's why the first body paragraph, it was written in thorough details, or, it was, bigger than you can students, you are asked to write. So the logical size for your writing is similar to the second body paragraph, which is the second effect. This is the, approximate length, if you want, which is required from you as a students to write. So again, if we go to the first effect, going into the social experiences, if you are a video game addict, you will simply, and let's sum up the main idea of the paragraph. You simply spend most of your time playing the video games, so you don't go out. You are not interested in visiting your relatives. If you want to see your friends, it becomes painstaking because you prefer to sit on your, PS console or Xbox or whatever, play in the virtual world, different games related to wars, sports, etc. So this breaks down socialization and social skills, okay? And of course, although many games like Xbox, for example, and many consoles like Xbox, they allow online gaming, you feel that you are socializing, because you are playing with other people, whether in your same country or from other countries. This may make you feel that you are socializing, but actually you're not doing any social activity, you're just playing. Okay, so simply your social life and personal relations may suffer. Okay, this is the summary of the first effect related to our social, aspect of our lives. Now, what will happen? What will happen now? We will read, Omar Naib, you will read the second effect. Okay, we will read the second effect. And then the third effect related to health shall be assigned as a homework. So next Monday, as a homework, you shall only write a body paragraph starting with a topic sentence that talks about the health or physical effects of being a video game addict. Fine? Is it
Alright,
clear?
teacher. For Monday,
Okay,
yes.
fine.
Yes, I will send on eSchool, but for next Monday, it's only this homework to write a short body paragraph about the health or physical effects of being a video game addict. Like becoming obese, becoming listless, etc. You know that. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
So, Naib, let's now read the second effect of being a video game addict related to vocational or simply jobs or, work. Yes?
Another unfortunate product is of isolation that often accompanies video game addiction is the disruption of the user's career.
Of course, disruption, it means that it's simply, it's a detrimental factor, okay? So it deeply affects your career, your job. How? Let's see.
While many players manage to enjoy video games and still hold their jobs without problems, others experience challenges at their workplace. Some may only experience warnings or demerits as a result of poorer performance, or others may end up losing their jobs altogether.
Okay.
Playing video games for extended periods of time often involves sleep deprivation, and this tends to carry over the workplace, reducing production and causing habitual tiredness.
Tiredness. Good. So, Mr., the second effect related to your health or physical well-being from being, or of being a video game addict is that, first of all, it will disrupt your work. Why? You are playing a video game. Let's say that you reach a certain level during the night and you are sleepy. You want to go to sleep. Okay? Because you want simply to, go to, you have to go to work on a certain day. On the next day, you have work, but during the late hours of night, you've already, let's say, reached a certain level and you want to continue. You are an addict. Remember, we are talking about addiction. So the next day, when you go to work, you will simply not be focusing, right? You will be simply thinking about the next level. And of course, foremost, you will be tired because you already hadn't got enough sleep. You're already tired, and that's why it develops, as we read, sleep deprivation. Okay, and it will also cause you poor performance at work. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Up so far, our essay about effects of video game addiction, the writer starts by identifying the problem and setting a very, let's say, worried and anxious tone by describing it as a serious problem. And then he mentions some examples of the countries where, citizens are mostly addict. And finally, he finishes with a thesis statement listing 3 effects of being a video game addict that encompasses our social, vocational, and health levels. Then we read in details how video game addiction affects our social lives, our vocational lives, and as I told you, next time you're asked to write about how it affects our health levels. Okay, but let's finish now our period. Hala, let's read the conclusion. Let's read the
Okay.
conclusion.
The causes of video game addiction are complex and can vary greatly, but the effects have the potential to be severe. Playing video games can and should be a fun activity for all to enjoy, but just like everything else, the amount of time one spends playing video games needs to be balanced with personal and social relationships. The conclusion indicates a summary of the main points and a suggestion, solution, and personal opinion.
Good. Mr. As usual, the conclusion, it simply starts with what? A restatement of the thesis statement, right? Which is the first step in the conclusion. So we always start our conclusion with a restatement, okay, of the thesis statement. The writer, he restated by, let's write a transition, of course. Let's write a transition here, which might be in conclusion or in a nutshell or overall, you know that. So in conclusion, we always start with a transition. Okay. So in conclusion, the causes of video games addiction are complex and can vary greatly, but the effects have the potential to be severe. So I restate the thesis, and then I continue by saying playing video games can and should be a fun activity for all, but just like everything else, the amount of time needs to be balanced. So it's a suggestion, let's say, right? Okay. So this is our essay. Okay.